Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Broku no Hero. Welcome to the channel. Today's video is another one about Black Clover. This is basically talking about Asta and Yuno and them surpassing captains from the beginning of the series. That is the main point for the discussion today. Not have they surpassed the level of, or the power level of captains of current day, but the captains from the beginning of the series. Because, captains have been getting stronger. There is a lot of evidence for that. I'll just mention a few for now. There's Charlotte vowing alongside a bunch of other characters that they're going to get stronger. So that implies that Charlotte and probably other captains are going to get stronger. We know for a fact Yami's gotten stronger. And also Nozel blatantly states that he's been training by refining his Mercury magic. So captains do get stronger. Captains from the beginning series are weak compared to the captains currently right now in the series, and that's very easy to prove. I just don't want to go into that in depth, so that's why I just gave that little information right there. I mean, also you could add in the fact that Charlotte and Yami did do a training arc together on the volcanic mountain, that strong magic region. So that's another piece of evidence. Now, the first feat to really start with here is we just scale Ragus, the Diamond General. Now, I already did a video about this. He's not necessarily captain level, even though he could be, but he's still relative to captains. We know this because a Clover captain is stated to be at the beginning of the series worth more than 100 mages. Ragus took on 50 Clover mages. Those 50 Clover mages did a combo spell. Ragus no diff through that combo spell, which was a barrier defensive spell. And not only was it so easy that he cracked through it, but the arrows of lightning that he had used were still strong enough to incapacitate the Clover mages after breaking through their defensive barrier spells. So we don't know how much greater Ragus is than 50 mages. We just know it's a lot. So he's over halfway there. And then Yuno defeats Ragus. So Yuno is above that, which puts Yuno that much closer to captain level, right? And then we look at the Star Award Ceremony Festival, and Yuno goes full power, and this is going to be a stronger Yuno than the one that fought Ragus because some time has passed. Well, Yuno goes full power, and Asta not only reacts to it, but he negates it as well. So this Yuno is worth more than 50 Clover mages. Asta reacts to that and pretty much easily deflects it. So this puts it to the point where they're both at a pretty close level here, Asta and Yuno, and that means that base Asta is already comparable to captains, since Yuno was comparable to captains, because he defeated somebody who was at least halfway there. And then let's get into the actual multipliers, right? This is going to be very easy to prove that Yuno is captain level when you bring up Spirit Dive and its multipliers. So in the guidebook, it does state that the Spirit Dive multiplier is a many times multiplier. Now, many is kind of subjective. There are ways to kind of guess it. It's really hard though, because it depends on what context, because many just means a large number of, but large number is relative, because if you have 1,000 rounds of ammunition in your house, that can be normal, or many to some people. So you can kind of gauge it. It's at least a 2 times multiplier. I would go more for 3, because you could have used the word couple, but many I would imply at least a 3 times multiplier. And then you take, it could be more, but let's go with 3. So that means that 50 times 3, Yuno is worth more than 150 Clover mages while in Spirit Dive. So that proves that he's above this captain level barometer that has been set within the Clover Kingdom, within Black Clover. So he's worth over 150 mages in Spirit Dive, and that is that level. Now, he was stronger when he used Spirit Dive, because, he's training all the time, and he did the Mana Skin training. So that's a 50... he's worth over 50 mages from the Chitin arc. And the actual arc when he fights Rill, he's even stronger. Now this again proves he's captain level, because you have him being worth over 50 Clover mages when he fights Ragus, but then when he does Spirit Dive, he's pretty much equal to an actual captain, Rill. So the calcing and the power scaling works with the feat and the lore. So Yuno in Spirit Dive was comparable, or to, not actually comparable, he was literally equal to Rill. They were both going all out, their beams were going against each other. Rill did eventually actually destroy his crystal, but it still shows that they are at least very close to each other. So the scaling and the counts are backed up by the feat and the lore. So that works perfectly there, that Yuno is captain level. And this is funny because, you would think that when Yuno goes against an actual captain and does pretty much equal footing with him, that they're going to say he's captain level, but no, people still think today that Yuno is only vice captain level because he's a vice captain, but like I'll kind of explain in a sec, that doesn't matter whatsoever. Now, enough talk about Yuno for now, let's get to Asta. Now, once Asta was healed by the Witch Queen, and he got an amp from her healing magic, is especially stated that the healing would make him stronger, he was actually comparable to Fauna. Now, of course, he couldn't defeat her on his own, but with help, he was able to. And then you have him fighting Ladros. Now, we know that Mars is stronger than the weaker Diamond Generals, so Mars is above Ragus, who is over 50 mages strong. You have Ladros, who's stronger than Mars, so you have Ladros, who is 2 tiers of power above Ragus, and base Asta was comparable to him, because remember, they fought each other, they were pretty comparable. Now, Asta did say that he could have lost, and then also Ladros thought he could have lost if he got close, so it's really 2 different things here. They were pretty comparable. Maybe Ladros can win, who knows, but base Asta was comparable to somebody who is captain level. And then you have Spirit Ladros, he absorbs the power of the Spirit. It states he surpasses Fauna, and then we can even argue that Spirit Ladros is stronger than the self-destruct Fauna with the Salamander. So, Spirit Ladros, easily captain level. Black Asta defeats him quite easily. So, this is where I don't understand why people would say that Black Asta wasn't, captain level. He defeated somebody who was captain level, Spirit Ladros. Fauna is already captain level, we know that. It's stated many times that Fauna was captain level. Then you get Ladros, who surpasses Fauna. Asta beats him pretty easily. He's captain level in black form. That's just an objective fact based on scaling. And then I want to go into the tournament as well, because I did bring up Yuno in the tournament. Asta in the tournament, in his base form, he's holding his own against an amped vice captain in Longris. And then in black form, he defeats a higher amped version of Longris pretty easily. So Black Asta defeats a amped vice captain quite easily. Of course, he did need help to get into the black form, but black form Asta, even from that point in the series, is definitely captain level based on feats and scaling. I mean, Longris was getting many amps over and over again. He got like at least 1 amp that we can quantify to be a 2x multiplier, and Black Asta pretty much casually canceled all of his magic, blitzed him, and then one-shot him and took out the crystal, which ended up being a tie. So that right there was pretty big also to show that Asta is that close to captain level if he's taking out an amped vice captain. That easily, that easily. He does it easily. So you have Black Asta taking out an amped vice captain easily, and then Spirit Dive Yuno basically be on equal footing with a captain. I think this whole arc, in my opinion, was to show that once Asta and Yuno transformed, they were captain level. It just makes sense. I mean, we know with the lore, with Yuno already in his base form, with Bell being at least halfway to captain level, Spirit Dive gets him there through scaling, and then it does get them there through actual feats and lore. And then Asta goes into Black Asta, defeats an amped general who is captain level, and he should be captain level. So that's, I think that works out very, very well there, that we have that. And now, next thing, this is also another good way to show that even base Asta has gotten stronger. So, you have base Asta in the arc right before the elves come. He moves faster than one of Merliona's attacks, way faster, it's not even close, and then he punches Raya, and just a single punch from his base form does a lot of damage to him and knocks him back. So, I mean, just based on that alone, you could argue that base Asta is above Raya with his third eye activated, which that guy at that point was well above captains from the beginning of the series. So, again, base Asta does that, and then just a little bit later, base Asta holds its own against Elf Rill. Now, this is Elf Rill Lyra, so you have Rill a captain, Elf Rill, amped captain. Now Asta does not defeat Rill, he holds his own as a base form though, he survives for a while, he defeats some of his attacks, reacts to it, so again, base Asta at this point is strong, he's nothing to be messed with, he's nothing to scoff at, base Asta is strong, and then Black Asta unfortunately did not get to be used against Elf Lyra in that fight, it would be Charmy taking over for him. But we get other feats later on, like the Devil scaling well above Elf Patri, and Asta, doing alright against him. And And this is the big, huge scaling you can use to very easily prove that Asta and Yuno surpassed beginning of series captains. So you have Cave Pottery, who was comparable to Yami, and was captain level at that point since he was comparable to Yami. Then you have Base Pottery from the time when he fought Julius. We know that Pottery gets stronger because his guidebook stats are better. We know that he's stronger because he's a 4-leaf Clover Grimoire, so he gets stronger faster. Time has passed, so that Base Pottery, when he fought Julius, is stronger than Cave Pottery. Then you have Elf Pottery. The Elf form is a big amp. Then you have Dark Elf Pottery, which was an amp in mana and an amp in magic type. So just look at the gap here between Cave Pottery and Dark Elf Pottery. If Asta or Yuno were at all able to do anything against Dark Elf Pottery, they would scale above Yami, because remember, Yami was pretty much equal to Cave Pottery. Then you have Base Pottery, Elf Pottery, and Dark Elf Pottery. The gap is so massive, Yami would not do shit against Dark Elf Pottery. And talking about Yami from the cave. Current Yami, of course he could. But Yami from the cave could not. So this proves that Black Asta and Elf Spear Dive Yuno were captain level, at least in the way that they scaled above that Yami from the cave. And it's also easy to prove because they went against the Ray of Divine Punishment. Yami couldn't go against that, and basically the two of them together reflected it. Now, you have that's still a shared feat, it's halfway there, but Dark Elf Pottery is so many times stronger than Cave Pottery that, yes, even if you doubled Yami's power from the cave, he's still not reflecting it. So, that's another good feat there to show that Asta and Yuno have surpassed the beginning of series captains. Again, there's so much evidence for this, I don't know how people still don't agree with it. But then we get into scaling of magical stages. This just proves so much, guys. You have Stage 1, which is stated that you need to be Stage 1 to be able to even fight a devil, which, in my opinion, Stage 1 is a barometer for captain level, based on who we've actually seen to fight devils. Who have we seen actually fight devils? Elf Pottery with his Dark Eye. We have seen Asta, Yuno, Yami, Sharla, Licht, Lumiere. So, Ian and Sekra helped a little bit, so she's not Stage 1, but to actually have a fight with a devil, I'd say that makes Stage 1 that barometer for at least low captain level. And then Stage 0 is basically you can fight devils quite well. It's a higher level of captain level. Now, Valkyrie Armor Noelle is Stage 1 in the post-Elf arc, but also pre-time skip. And with feats and scaling, she's captain level, and so if feats and scaling puts her at captain level, and she's a Stage 1 with the Valkyrie Armor, that just kind of solidifies it. If you're Stage 1, you're pretty much at least a low captain level. And then you have Yuno, right now, post-time skip, is a Stage 0. So he is literally the highest stage you can get to. He's above Stage 1. So if Stage 1 Valkyrie Armor Noelle is captain level, which I've made a video on before, of how strong she is. I mean, she defeated Kavin, who Nozel couldn't defeat. She is one of the fastest characters in the series, from the highest attack potency. So, yes, Valkyrie Armor Noelle, when she's transformed, is captain level, and Yuno is a Stage 0 at the post-time skip, he has to be captain level, or stronger than captains from the beginning of the series. I mean, you have William, who's a Stage 0 as well. He gets destroyed by Xeno. Yuno does better against Xeno, despite being tired before the fight even started. So, again, more evidence that Yuno is stronger than beginning series captains. And captain level now if he's Stage 0. Now, kind of back to Asta. So, Black Asta was able to do somewhat well against the Water Spirit, whose mana zone was covering the entire country. So, Heart Queen with Water Spirit should be one of the strongest characters in the series. He was doing quite well at first, but then, his anti-magic control kind of screwed him over. Got saved by Sekra, though. And then, post-time skip, Asta is so much stronger. He solos a Spade Kingdom base with no difficulty. He no-diffs a Spade Captain. Now, Spade Captain, with 5% double power, Asta is comparable to him in base form, and then no-diffs him once he goes Black Asta. Doesn't even use the full power Black Asta, and uses Black Divider. So, remember, this is a Spade Captain. Now, he's not a Dark Disciple, but this should mean that there's Spade Captains, which is probably the equivalent to a Clover Captain. Then there's the Dark Disciples and the Dark Triad. But still, Asta no-diff to Spade Captain. That's going to put him above captain level, at least above of what was said to be, where, beginning of the series, they're worth 100 mages. And easy proof here is that, Asta and Yuno were fighting against a full power devil. You had the devil was going all out. He was using his grimoire, and Asta and Yuno were fighting him. Sure, Yuno had amps. He had the light amp from Lumiere, and he did L form. But still, those are, I guess, at least the light amp is unquantifiable, and Yuno has now been training for 6 months in the time skip. He's arguably comparable to what he was. And, Asta, he can use the black form to basically its full extent. It's shown when he is in the trial. So, yeah, this just pretty much proves, guys, I want to make this video, that Asta and Yuno, they surpassed the beginning of series captains, at least most of them. And it's fairly easy to prove, like I already said. And or at least they've surpassed the captain level of the beginning of series. If Yuno is worth well over 50 mages, and then he goes into Spirit Die, which is a multiplier. I just think the most damning thing is that the scaling and the calcing with Yuno literally matches exactly with the feats and the lore. Because if you just took the scaling in, where you have a Clover captain is worth over 100 mages, Yuno is worth well over 50, and then you add in the multiplier of many times, let's say it's 3, that's 150, so that puts him at captain level. But then you could say, oh, well, there's no proof for that. But the proof for that is based on the feat and the lore that Yuno fights Rill and is pretty much an equal towards him. So that just works out perfectly. It's perfect that the scaling and the calculations literally matches up exactly with the feats and the lore. So it's pretty damning. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. Please do leave a like if you enjoyed, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe. You guys all have an amazing day. Plus...